Chapter 13, my favorite school subjects. My favorite subject in high school was math. From the time I was in 9th grade, my best grades were in math. In my high school, we didn't get A, B, C, D, and F grades. Ours were much more broken down than that. Our grades went from 0 to 100. It is so much easier to figure out where you are when numbers are used instead of letters. Every test or homework assignment is given a number according to the exact grade. It isn't subject to interpretation. When I went to Rick's College, I had a hard time adjusting to letter grades. An A could mean anything between 94 and 100, and I didn't like that, and still don't. The first time I earned a 98% on my report card was in math class, algebra actually. I was stunned. I hadn't been keeping track of my grades. I was simply doing my homework and taking my tests. I realized then that I was good at math, in fact, very good. Immediately, I began to focus my study energies on my math classes, which caused them to become my most beloved classes. I was called on in class all the time by my teachers when they wanted a student to figure out a problem or project. My math teachers became my mentors, and I became their teacher's pet. It was very satisfying and meaningful to excel. It felt so good to be good at something, really good. When I went to Rick's College, I majored in elementary education. That was back in the day when every other woman majored in elementary education. I had no desire to teach, but I truly didn't know what else to do. My first math class was an elementary education class. It was so simple. I felt no challenge at all and slid through the class with an easy A. Every assignment and test were perfect. One day on campus, I ran into the professor who taught the class, and he asked me my thoughts about it. I thought he wanted me to tell the truth, so I did. I told him the class was so easy and unchallenging. He apparently didn't want my real opinion about the class because when the grades came out, he gave me an A-. How can a person get an A- when all the work was 100%? He took offense at my thoughts of the class. That A- stung, but only briefly. I knew my grade was because of my offense to the instructor. I went back to college when I was in my 50s. For generals, I had to take a math class, so I chose my old favorite, algebra. Well, that wasn't quite the same as my 9th grade algebra class. I worked hours and hours every day to get my A. It was hard. Of course, my 51-year-old brain was quite a bit different than my 14-year-old brain. I spent a long time in the testing center taking the algebra exam. It was Greek to me, but after hours and hours, suddenly the test became very clear. It was like everything just came together, and I understood it all. I got that A that I craved. My advanced math class was statistics. As difficult as the classwork was, the exam was one of complete memorization of formulas and simply dropping the problems into the formulas. I couldn't see any possible way I could get through the exam with an A. I studied and I studied and then I studied some more. On the day of the exam, I fasted and prayed about all my studying and then went to the temple. After the temple session, I drove to the BYU testing center, prayed some more, and plunged into the exam. In almost no time, I was done and with an A. Since my many experiences, I've decided the most math I care to do is my checkbook. I'm looking for a new favorite subject.